Hey, viewers and viewresses, my name is General Red Strategist and welcome back, that is, to God's Basement, Episode 5. Now, thing is, we just completed Chapter 8 at the end of the last episode, after we blitzed through 6, 7 and 8, and thing is, there's 11 chapters in this game, apparently. We're on Chapter 9, and depending on how how long these chapters are, these remaining ones, we could very well get the game complete in this episode if we really sort of focus and get down to it. So let's just go. Blitz in. Go, 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 go. Ooh. Hello? Now what's the deal here? So increasingly I'm leaning towards the hypothesis that James has murdered the grandmother and then something's happened to him. Alright, what do we got? Couple brutally murdered. Well, we've already read that. We've seen that already. That's about our parents' deaths. Oh, truth. Read the old documents that reveal your past.
Through some old boxes, you found an interesting set of documents that revealed the truth about your past. Your grandparents were involved in an accident that killed your grandfather and your infant brother.
Didn't I say this?
It wasn't your grandmother's fault entirely, but your parents couldn't help but put the blame on her. With no family or friends left, living a hopeless and bleak existence, your grandmother decided to murder them.
As you do.
With your parents out of the way, she could raise you all by herself. Her desire was selfish and evil. That was all you needed. A way to justify her death. A way to break the burden of taking care of her. Do you remember what you did? I'll walk you through it once more, just in case you've forgotten.
See, didn't I hypothesize earlier that the grandmother may have killed the parents? She may have gone crazy. I mean, the way it phrased it just then sounded very, I don't know, what's the word, like flippant almost, which, you know, just feels random. But I hypothesized, didn't I? Yes, I predicted it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to pat myself on the back like I'm a clever little boy. Oh, wow, okay. That was a chapter? Was that really just chapter 9? Done? Like that? Interestingly, though, I wonder what would happen. Because obviously all those documents on that table, with the exception of the one that was clearly the grandmother's note about having killed the parents, those are obviously documents that I found earlier on in the game. So I suppose the question is, if I hadn't found some of those, would they still show up on that table? Then again, I feel like actually, no, they still would, because there's no way I actually really could miss them, is there? That's the thing. Alright, get the knife, get the new radio, get the phone, place the knife on her bed, replace the old radio, place the phone on the table outside the door, wait outside her room. Okay, this is our plan now, is it? Oh wow, you've just pasted this everywhere, have you? Right, knife, new radio, phone. No. Of course we have to go in here, don't we? I just got a little rocking chair. Well, we can't do anything with the radio yet because we need a new one. That's there. It's not opening, rather. Right, knife, new radio, phone. That's locked. I like how all the lights are sort of an ominous red now. Is that just the same? That's the same. Right, oh, it's all here. It's all here. Okay. I got the objects. So, place the knife on her bed, replace the old radio, place the phone on the table outside the door, then wait. Oh boy, what are you going to do, James? How are you going to pull this off? Let's see then, shall we? So, knife on bed, swap out the radio, phone on table outside the door, so that one, possibly. Okay, let's do this. There's the knife. There's the radio. Oh, careful. And, yeah. Oh.
Are you listening to me? I know
Oh.
that I might seem suspicious, but for now, I'm going to need you to trust me.
Wasn't that the operator's words to us earlier?
Do you want that?
Not this, but the sentence before.
I can show you a way out, but
I know I may seem suspicious, but I need you to trust me.
don't worry. Very soon you won't feel any pain at all. You won't have to suffer any longer. The first thing I want you to do is to grab the knife on your bed. You're doing a great job. It's very sharp, so please be careful with it. The next step is to against your stomach.
Yeah.
You're doing a wonderful job. Now, press a little harder. Keep applying more pressure until the knife penetrates the flesh of your stomach. You might feel quite a bit of pain, but that's going to be
Sorry, I'm just
temporary.
sipping tea in the background.
You're doing a great job. I want you to pull the knife out. Is there a war? Red fluid gushing out of your
So
stomach.
James's plan was to make it look like she committed suicide then, I guess.
Enough pressure. I know that this might be painful, but pretty soon it's going to be all over. I want you to repeat the process, except now go a little to the right of the original spot. Keep applying pressure until the knife penetrates the flesh.
Ugh.
Now that you've done
I heard
the
that.
process twice,
Is she already dead?
go to the left of the original spot. Once again, keep applying pressure until the knife penetrates the flesh.
Are you doing this because of what she did to your parents? Oh no, that was the same sound as before.
Great job.
She's not dead, she's still going.
The original spot. I want you to stab the knife into the wound 3 times.
Because our parents were killed by stabbing.
This time,
They were badly mutilated.
apply pressure. I want you to press the knife into your stomach as hard as you can. Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
You heard that there.
Doing a wonderful job. Are you in pain? Are you suffering? I know you are, but don't worry. It'll all go away soon. This is the last step. Are you ready? All you have to do is to repeat the process, except this time, press the knife against your neck. Whenever you're ready, just quickly thrust the knife into
So he made her suffer before she died, presumably because he wanted to have her die by mass stabbing, like the parents.
wherever that might be. Goodbye. I can guarantee you will not be missed.
Wow, James. Just add that insult at the very end. Oh god. Oh, we're fading out. Okay. What? Wait, so what's chapter 11 then? Are we about to go into chapter 11?
James,
Oh.
you murdered her. You knew about her delusions. She always talked about the man in the radio, so you decided to become that character.
Wait.
You replaced the old radio and then played an audio file telling her to stab herself repeatedly with a knife.
Am I the operator then?
You knew she was
The man in the
delusional
radio?
and had episodes of schizophrenia. She followed your instructions and eventually bled to death due to her self-inflicted injuries.
The operator is me? Or a
Since all
part
the
of me?
evidence pointed to a suicide, you weren't charged with anything. You finally got what you wanted. You were finally free. You might be wondering how exactly you ended up dead. Well, for the first few months, you lived your
Yes,
life
tell me.
carefree.
Why am I dead?
You actually enjoyed life to some extent, not being tied down by an ill relative. But eventually, that all came crashing down. It started off with brief, horrific, gruesome nightmares. Visions of her stabbing herself endlessly, blood gushing out of her wounds, flooding your mind with blood-red guilt. Slowly, these nightmares leaked into your daily life. You'd see her out of the corner of your eye, whether you were driving, walking down the street, or at work. Even though you killed her, she never really left. She lived in your mind and haunted you every day until you eventually couldn't fall asleep. Every time you closed your eyes, even for the briefest of moments, she'd manifest in your subconscious.
So did James eventually commit suicide himself?
Eventually, you went to the hospital and you were prescribed sleep medicine, but that only suppressed the issue. Slowly, your body adjusted to the medicine and you needed to increase the dose for the medicine to be effective.
Is that how that works? I don't
This
know.
process kept repeating until you were taking multiple times the recommended amount. You were addicted until one night you
Okay.
overdosed on sleep medication.
Overdose.
Right now, in this moment, your physical body is currently in a hospital bed, hovering between the thin line of life and death. You're still probably wondering why you're here in God's basement. I'll finally tell you who I am and what this place really is. God's basement is a realm for those who have committed great sin but are still redeemable. The individuals that arrive in God's basement relive their own versions of hell, allowing them to reflect on their life and watch their slow descent into evil. Their resentment, hate, bitterness, and jealousy accumulate until those emotions manifest themselves through atrocious acts, yours being murder. You were backed into a corner, watching your life slowly pass you by. All those opportunities you sacrificed. All that potential wasted. You became bitter and resentful. Many could sympathize with you. Many might have even done the same. You were hopeless, and it felt like you were inside a living hell. I am called the Operator. I am an entity that manifests in God's basement. I manifest myself in different ways depending on the person. My job is to guide the person inside God's basement and allow them to relive their life from a different perspective.
Okay, I see.
In your case, I manifested
Of
with
course.
many characteristics resembling the man in the radio. Hopefully this explanation cleared everything up.
Oh, of course it did, yes. Thank
You're
you.
still probably wondering what happens now that you have all your memories. I mentioned earlier that God's basement are for those who are still redeemable. Even though you committed an atrocious sin, you were trapped in a hopeless existence. Also, the person you killed wasn't really your grandmother.
Huh?
She was a shell of her former self.
I mean, still your grandmother, technically.
Your grandmother died long ago. Part of you wanted to see her suffering cease. Your crime was both cruel and merciful at the same time.
Yeah.
You are going to get a second chance at life. Pretty soon you're going to wake up in a hospital bed out of your drug-induced coma. Learn to live with what you did. The feelings of guilt, paranoia, and pain will never completely go away. James, make the most out of life and be grateful for this second chance. One last thing. Good luck.
Wow, okay. We enacted a horrible plan. But don't you worry, you're going to get a second shot at life, buddy. So is that the end? I mean, I just got an achievement said the operator's last monologue. Oh, we're actually waking up in the hospital. I guess this is chapter 11. Maybe? Don't mind me just gulping down the remnants of my tea in the background. Wait. Oh god, is that Claire de Lune by Debussy? Debussy even? Don't play that. That's giving me freaking Danganronpa V3 flashbacks. Ugh. I'm sure it is. No. Not my precious Kaide Akamatsu. Piano. Girl. Classical music waifu. No. God's Basement. Okay. Well, there you go. I guess that's the end of it. So that was a short, fairly simple indie horror game, and yeah, I'd say on the whole, it was decent. It was okay. I put it that way. It did have some good spooky moments to it, but there were some gripes that I did have. If I was the dev, certain things I probably would have changed. For example, there were a couple of puzzles that were a little bit finicky within that one, like the lights puzzle earlier on, and obviously the puzzle with the paintings, which at first was a bit finicky. But like I said, they're minor. There were only a couple of minor instances of slight issues. Other just general criticisms, I guess I'd say. I feel like, I don't know, the operator was an interesting character, but I feel like rather than having, I'm sure it was like that was like a computerized voice. Oh, hello. I'm the developer of God's Basement. You've reached the end, and I want to say thank you for playing through the whole game. Still pretty new to creating video games, so I hope the experience was bearable. Yeah, it was. Hopefully you enjoyed the experience. Maybe someday you'll play another of my games, if I'm able to release another one. My dude, keep making games. You will get better and better the more you practice. And this one was decent enough. Like I say, maybe not perfect, but it wasn't bad by any means. It was enjoyable for what it was, I felt. Let's go back to the main menu. Here we go. Alright, so technically, yeah, that must be all the chapters pretty much done then. Fantastic, yeah. So like I say, there's some gripes, puzzles. The operator himself, I'm still sure that was like a computerised voice, whereas I feel like maybe, I don't know, could have actually benefited if you were able to get an actual voice actor or someone who could give it a bit more oomph. Because especially, there was some very, there were some moments of his dialogue which were quite long, a bit long-winded, where he was summarising things, which in some instances I didn't feel was kind of necessary to have. And in other instances, obviously, like that final cutscene, that went on for quite a while. But, yeah, would have maybe been better there to give that a bit more oomph to actually have a voice actor. Though, obviously, admitting that if this is your first game, you might not have necessarily the budget to be able to do that. So, there might be alternative solutions, though, that you could go with there. I mean, you could try maybe recording a few sort of tentative lines yourself, depending on, you know, if you have kind of the right vocal range. Maybe get some friends to comment on them. Do you think this is decent voice acting? Then maybe insert those. Assuming, that is, you have microphone capabilities. Or, hell, you could even have the operator be voiceless and instead have his dialogue sort of appear just in text form on a screen or something. I don't know. I'm sure there are creative ways you could sort of think of alternatives to that. So yeah, like I say, those would be my gripes. Just the occasional puzzle that was a bit finicky, and sometimes just the exposition with the narrator, the operator, maybe sometimes being a bit clunky, or perhaps just needing a bit more oomph in places. So yeah, other than that though, this game had some good stuff to it. I mean, the visuals are fine. Like I said, it had some spooky moments, some spoopy little scary bits, particularly where the zombie lady granny showed up. So, Dev, if you happen, by any remote chance, to be watching this, do take encouragement from my words here. It'd be interesting to see what else you can produce with a bit of, you know, critical feedback under your belt and all that. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap up here. So this was God's Basement. Good to actually play this. I always do enjoy these sort of shorter indie horror games, the ones that don't kind of overstay their welcome. And I hope you enjoyed watching. So, what's coming up next on the channel? I've already alluded to it, and the more I think about it, the more I think, yes, I'm going to break a rule that I set myself years and years ago. A rule where I said I was never going to play a FNAF game on the channel. I'm going to fucking break that rule because fuck it, it's my channel, I'll do what I want. I'm going to play FNAF Security Breach during December. A colourful game for a colourful month. And it'll be the first FNAF game I've ever played, but in case anyone's wondering, no, just because I'm playing that one doesn't mean I'm going to play the other ones. I'm just going to play that one because it's the only one that really has ever sort of interested me. And like I say, that's ironic considering it's the one that has kind of polarised reviews, both from critics and from people on Steam and all that. But you know what? Sometimes I like to play games that are a bit jank and that have problems, because, you know, just to see if there's any sort of diamonds in the rough, anything like that, or if maybe there are interesting qualities to it that are worth examining, that kind of thing. So I hope you'll join me for that fairly soon, ladies and gentlemen. Facebook and links are down below, along with a link to my propagandist channel for anyone interested. And if you enjoyed, a like is of course always appreciated. But other than that, this is General Red signing off. Goodbye, everybody. Well, that was unexpected. Hey, we just interrupted some stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if we want to fish. You know what? Let them do that. They're walking off this whole area of the ocean saying, "What's going here? Thank you very much." So clearly that was something to happen, ladies and gentlemen.